Hi guys, Steve Girardi here. Welcome to Steve Strings. I have a different kind of a video for you today. Today it's a video on a repair of an instrument. A guy by the name of Steve Miller owns this guitar, and as you can see, this guitar has a little issue. So what I'll be doing here is re-gluing the bridge to this classical guitar. So let's get started. For those folks who are interested, this guitar is a Carlos branded guitar, and I'm not sure you can see that. It's model 228, but of course this is the problem that we're dealing with. And you can see here from the look of this, this was plainly a laminate top, and some of that laminate pulled away when the bridge failed. So let's go ahead and take a look at the underside of the bridge. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and look at the bridge and see what happened here. And you can see this is part of the problem right here, in that when this was glued on, you can see this part up here on the end of the bridge, which still has that shiny glue, that plainly never made contact or never got glued to the top of the soundboard. And there's some other spots here where you can see the glue is shiny, so those never attached. And so that was part of the problem. You can see here that some of that, like one of the whole layers of that laminate peeled right off with it. So when I clean up this bridge, the underside, I'm going to go ahead and scrape off that old glue so I have a clean gluing surface. But I'm going to leave this laminate on there. It attached, and I'm going to need that to basically fill in that void. So it'll basically glue it back into that layer of the plywood, basically. From looking here where the bridge came off, I'll be doing the same, in that I'm just going to be scraping off old glue and making sure it's clean so that I'll have a good probability of getting a glue contact on the reglue. So let's get to that. All right, so I've got the bridge here, and I'm just going to be using a razor blade here to scrape this. And again, my intent here is not to really scrape away wood, but rather just to scrape away this old dried glue that's on there. And you can see here as I'm scraping that, that's coming away pretty easily. And if I need to, I can go back. If this thing isn't quite level, I can sort of lightly sand that to get that back flush again without really taking away any significant wood. So let me do this and we'll come back when we're done. Okay, you can see I'm making some progress here, and it's pretty actually easy to tell what is glue and what's not. All this sort of white stuff I've scraped away is glue, whereas the areas where I have gotten down to the wood, it's brown. So basically, I need to keep on scraping this until I get down to the bare wood. And I should say that this is actually a little bit sticky, so I can tell that that is glue. Again, I'm not sure what kind of glue this was, but I'll get down to the bare wood and we'll get ready for glue up. Okay, you can see here I've now gone ahead and scraped all that old glue off. And I should say that that glue is really quite thick, so I'm really not too surprised this thing popped. Again, the plan now is to go ahead and do the same on the surface of the guitar, scrape off any potential old glue there, and then I'll go ahead and lightly sand this to make sure it's flush. Either that or get a card scraper to make sure it is flush and ready for glue up. Okay, here's the guitar top, and you can see that it's kind of yellowed. So again, I'm not sure if that is yellowing from exposure to air or if that is yellowing from the whatever glue was there. But I'll need to go do the same thing here. Make sure I get this down to the bare wood again. And then I'll need to also make sure that this thing is going to in fact sit there snugly. Sometimes the bridge actually overlaps the lacquer, and if that's the case, I might need to scrape away from some lacquer. But from looking at it right now, it looks like, yeah, it's not really, bridge is not wider than where it was taken away from. So again, I'll scrape this up and then move on to the next step. So I finished scraping and sanding the bottom of the bridge, and you can see here I've now got it set up here. I'm just sort of doing a dry run here for the clamping. What I have here is I've got a piece of cedar, which I have taped to it a piece of thick saddle leather. So these are serving as cauls to give me good compression. And underneath, on the underside of these clamps, I also have a thick piece of saddle leather attached there so that it doesn't damage the wood. But I just did the dry run here, and it's looking like it'll work fine. So now I just need to glue it up. Alrighty, so you can see here I've scraped the underside of the bridge clean and sanded it, all except that piece of wood that I'm going to be leaving on there to it'll serve as a positioner, but also will fill that void in the bridge. So I'm going to be using just sort of tight bond 2 for this, and I'm going to be basically just painting this on to each of these surfaces, and then clamping them back together. So we'll get to that. All right, and I have both surfaces covered, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on and clamp it. Okay, I'm now cleaning up some of that squeeze out that we had. And we'll let this set for at least an hour, probably longer, to finish setting up. Alright, I've adjusted the clamps a little bit, and I'm getting more squeeze out still. So I will come back and wipe more that way as it continues to squeeze out. But so far, it's looking good. Alright, you can see that I have now taken the clamps off, and you can see here that it is glued on there tightly. I got a really good fit going back on there. All the squeeze out is cleaned up. So now I've let this been sitting, so now it's time to string it up. These are the strings that were in the case that came with this, so I'll go ahead and put those on. Alright, as you can see, I have this all strung up now, and I've tuned it up, although the strings are still settling. There we go. So we have a repaired bridge. So once again, we have an instrument that's ready to play. So I hope you found today's repair video interesting. I'm thinking about doing more of these. If you'd like to see more repair kind of videos, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.